Welcome, everybody, and good morning. This is the September 24th Board of Directors meeting for Nevada Irrigation District. Please rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Secretary, please call the roll.
Division 1,
Here.
Division 2,
Here.
Division 3 is absent. Division 4,
Here.
Division 5.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now look at our consent agenda. Is there anyone either in the public or board members who want to discuss any of these items, 3A through 3F?
We missed public comment.
Oh, we missed, oh gosh, goodness sake, so sorry, excuse me. We will now take public comment for any item that is not on the agenda, and that is limited to 3 minutes per person. Good morning, please say your name for everyone.
So I'm Shanti Emerson, and I live on Banner Mountain, and I'm real nervous. Never appeared before you all before. Basically, I've lived here 25 years in 5 houses, and my water service has been great. But where I have a problem is me as a landlady. I own 2 condos at Auburn Greens. Are you all familiar with Auburn Greens?
Yes.
It's a bunch of quadruplexes. Each one has 1 meter, 1 hot water heater, and they have to split the bill. My problem is that my tenants get behind, and sometimes they leave. And I call NID because I get the duplicate bills every month. I call NID and say, my tenant is and of course, I'm responsible in the long run for the bills, which is not true of PGE or all the other utilities. But in the end, I'm responsible, as you all know. So I will call customer service and say, has my tenant paid? Well, they'll say, yeah, your tenant paid $100. Well, their bill is $500. And I have gotten stuck for as much as $750 because NID will not turn off their water. And that's the only leverage I have to get them to pay is for the water to go off. Number one, you can't turn off the hot water anyway. So they always have hot water, but they do turn off the cold water. But my problem is you all let these bills get so big. And I have no recourse if you all don't turn off the water. And when I call customer service, it depends on who I get. Somebody will say, oh yeah, you as landlord, you can demand it. But the next person will say, no, they paid on it. We're going to keep running it. So there is a difference of opinion in customer service. But I would like for somebody to look at our rights, the landlord's rights, when their tenants get way behind, because we don't seem to have a lot of recourse if you don't turn off the water.
Thank you, Ms. Emerson. I'd like to put you in touch with, who should she be in touch with?
We've spoke with Ms. Emerson.
Oh, you have?
Couple times, but we can do that again.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your comment.
Okay, so how am I going to hear if anything's changed? Or
Unfortunately, it's state law, and I think that's been explained to you. So there's not a whole lot we could do, but I think I have some ideas of what you can do to better protect yourself through your lease agreements.
okay,
Mhm.
and I want to say that the tenant that left me with a $750 bill, her deposit was $1,500. So half of it went to that. And I can quite assure you, I spent more than $750 rehabbing that condo.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. One moment. Is there anyone else here in the audience that would like to make a comment? No, okay. I do see someone in the audience, the virtual audience. Bernie, you have your hand up. Do you want to unmute yourself and make your comment?
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
So good morning, and thank you for the opportunity of allowing me to appear by Zoom. I want to talk to you about Chebley's Pond. I'm Bernard Zimmerman, and I chair the Nevada County Historical Landmarks Commission. I think there's
Hey,
something wrong
Bernie,
with the audio.
Bernie. Yeah, we've got a problem with the audio. What should he do?
Bernie, it sounds like you have two different audio sources running. You're going to need to mute one of them.
All right. I'm trying to.
Are you on your phone and a computer?
Well, I turned off my phone. Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah. It should be. Speak again.
All right. No, it is my phone. I'll tell you what, I'm going to move it out of the way. I'm sorry.
Okay. Give this a try.
All right, let's see if that's better.
Yeah, as long as you're running two different devices
Right.
with audio,
sorry.
we're going to get that feedback.
For a long while, I wasn't clear whether I was going to be able to connect, so I had my phone ready in case I had to call in.
You're better now.
All right.
Mhm.
Anyway, I chair the Nevada County Historical Landmarks Commission, and I think I see one person smiling who knows what this is about. We were created by the Board of Supervisors in 1969, and our mission, in part, is to preserve and protect Nevada County history. Shebley's Pond is an important part of our history, as I'm sure you know. Not only was it the site of one of the earliest state fish hatcheries, but in the second half of the 19th century, before there was Lake Olympia, before there was Glenbrook Park, before there were fairgrounds, there was Shebley's Pond and the adjoining fairgrounds, and that was the place for outdoor recreation in Nevada County. The narrow gauge even ran special trains so people could use the site. Now, for some time, we've asked the Nevada Irrigation District to apply for landmark designation, and that hasn't happened. But we have another concern now. We keep reading reports in the press about the district's desire to raise the level of Rollins Reservoir. In the reports that we've been able to see online, there doesn't seem to be any mention of how any of these plans will impact Shebley's Pond. So I'm hoping that this morning someone can tell me. But the bottom line is that Shebley's Pond is an important part of Nevada County history and should be protected and preserved, regardless of what you decide to do with the reservoir. Thank you. So can someone tell me what your plans are?
Thank you very much. I think we'll have staff reach out to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this time, a full environmental analysis hasn't been completed. And so prior to any project being constructed, that does include historical property evaluations. So it would be protected to the extent that it would be impacted. But I'm not even clear where you're talking about. So maybe you could reach out to us offline.
Okay, just go to your Greenhorn campground, and as you enter, you'll see a sign saying historical landmark to the right. And if you have any questions about it, I'm sure that Vice President Beerwagon can direct you to the right place.
I have a feeling.
I think Mr. Beerwagon can help me out. Thank you so much.
Thank you
All
for
right,
your
thank
comment.
you, folks.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, is there other folks, comments, want to ask a question? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment for items not on the agenda. Thank you. All right, now moving to the consent agenda. Is there anybody in the audience or board who would like to pull any items or have any discussion about any of the items? Okay, seeing none.
So I move to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Is there any public comment about the consent agenda? Seeing none, we will entertain a motion. And call for the vote. We have the motion. Yeah.
Division 5,
Yes.
Division 4,
Yes.
Division 2,
Yes.
Division 1.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Okay, we'll now move to our workshop items. First item is the NID Strategic Plan Review for 2026. And Jen, I think that's you.
Yes, I will take that. This item is in response to input we received from the board the last time we reviewed the strategic plan, and there was a desire expressed by the board to add an item related to ensuring that we have a sustainable water supply coming from the upper division. So we crafted this new goal that would be included under strategic priority number 1, which is long-term infrastructure and water supply reliability. which states NID will plan and invest in infrastructure and water supply reliability to maintain and improve service levels and revenue. So the proposed goal is now would be goal number 4, and it is to evaluate options to increase reliability and water supply in the upper division. Objectives would be as follows: analyze feasibility of increasing storage at Rollins Reservoir by increasing water supply, removing sediment and or preventing further sedimentation. Analyze potential options to bypass PG&E Spalding facilities, and analyze realignment of the South Yuba Canal to reduce risk associated with landslide, tree falls, and wildfire.
Great.
And with that,
Questions?
any questions?
Yes, please.
Just, it's a technicality with the word upper division in there, since this is Rollins and Rollins in the upper division, the water comes from there, of course, that I think it should be stricken to include the whole district, upper division part.
Okay, so it will modify it to say evaluate options to increase reliability and water supply.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Go ahead.
yeah, throughout the whole district,
that's
Well, that's implied
Yeah,
now by
yeah.
striking upper division.
because then that brings us to the micro
Micro-
ponds. Yeah,
should have known
which,
course.
I was going.
which,
To discuss.
you know, upon further reflection, you know, it's 3:30 in the morning. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
This is what farmers dream of, you know? You can't have anything better than that. To me, the numbers are, one, we can reduce our reliance on winter water by creating lower division ponds or having people do that. Both Earl and I have micro ponds, and we do not need winter water or fall water because of it. And the second of all, it's cheaper to build multiple hundreds of smaller micro ponds than it is one large one. And I don't think CEQA would be as onerous. So there's the pitch.
thank you. Director Stevens.
The way I look at it here is that I'd like to look at it as the big picture. And if we find out that we need X number of acre feet saved, maybe we can save some in the South Yuba Canal, fixing leaks. We can do micro ponds. We can do raising Rollins or not. We can do a whole bunch of stuff, bypass Spalding, go through from Rucker, et cetera. So I'd like to look at it as what we call it, a holistic approach versus pinpoint approach. And that's my comment.
Yep.
Thank you. I agree. I think that increasing our water supply should be looked at as, you know, leaks and canals and options and opportunities for increasing efficiency in our current system, as well as increasing supply via whatever mechanism our learned staff and consultants can bring to us. So, okay.
And I concur with all of the above, all the former opinions. I would like to throw in that, looking at that big picture, how we can resolve over time constructive conveyances and winter water. It's a big thing to tackle, but if we started in for the long term to
Agreed.
eliminate those, and it would require some more out of the box thinking, just like other things we're doing.
If I could piggyback on that. We have different crops and different demands and needs of different regions of our district. And maybe we need to take a look at it and say, okay, winter water is not needed in this section. Shoulder water, early shoulder water is needed in this section, late shoulder water is needed in this section. And if there's a way that we could somehow save water by shutting this one down during this time, et cetera, maybe that's another analysis that we could perform.
What if we, based off this feedback, add a bullet that says analyze opportunities for reducing winter water use?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. So is everybody?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice work, by the way. Thank you.
So what we will do is at the next meeting, this will be crafted as a formal item for voting.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, we will go forward with the next workshop item, Capital Improvement Program 2026 budget.
All right. As the board is aware, we hold a series of 2 workshops every year to discuss both the capital budget and the operating budget for the upcoming annual budgeting year. The two workshops occur, and then we bring the budget for formal consideration. This item is to review the proposed projects for the 2026 capital improvement program. And then the next meeting will be the proposed operational budget for the 2026 annual budget. When staff went through to complete this effort, it was actually part of a larger effort that we are currently going through, and that is to develop the proposed models for new water rates. No, it's fine. I'll pass it off. In completion of the water rates model, we did complete a 5 and 10-year capital improvement model that allows us to understand influences on rates for the proposed 5-year rate period and the following 5-year rate period. So for a rate perspective, we do look at a 10-year window for expenditures and capital improvements so that we don't have huge rate swings at the end of rate terms. The 2026 capital budget does reflect what we currently have proposed in the rate model, which we are at the very final stages of tweaking, and we'll start workshopping that as well very soon. One question that I have received from President Heck is it does seem that some of our capital proposals or the total amount of expenditures does seem a little bit low this year. And that's just a natural reflection of some very large projects we have coming up, and specifically Scotts Flat Spillway in 2027. So in order to protect reserves, also to not have huge jumps in swings and rates during the rate period, you don't want to go have a 20% rate increase one year and then a 2% next year. We do some smoothing of the rates. So that is what is driving this proposed capital budget. What we will do is we will review the projects. Some of the projects we're not, there's a lot of, it's like a 80-page slide deck. So we won't spend a lot of time on them, vehicles and those things. We'll talk more generally how we determine what vehicles we are proposing to be replaced in equipment for this year. And each staff person who is their department's responsible for a category of capital improvements will review their projects. We don't intend to spend a ton of time on these. These are, it's an overall summary, but once we receive input from the board, then we will make any revisions, and then we'll start incorporating all of these into the overall budget that will be prepared for your consideration in the October timeframe. So before we get started, does anyone have any questions?
Could you, I missed the part you said that Director Heck thought that the budget was light,
Yes,
but then I heard her say that it was because of big projects. So
that's right. Yeah, both are true.
Okay.
Coming down.
What we do,
Didn't make sense to me.
No, I'm like, what, this seemed a little light to me when
Yes.
we know we have
Big
the
projects.
South, yeah, some big
Okay.
projects, as thinking specifically about the South Yuba Canal. And she pointed out that, well, we're trying to do
smooth
just
that.
what she said,
Yeah.
is smooth it out.
Yeah.
Plus we have
Okay.
Scotts Flat Spillway coming.
yeah,
up.
we're just like a
Yeah.
traditional family, right? When we know we have a very large expenditure coming up in a couple of years, we tend to start saving money for that large.
Right.
Some people do that.
expenditure. A very large vacation coming up.
But very large vacation.
So I have a quick question, just to get it out of the way. So last time, I think we approved the purchase of a certain brand of pickup, and aren't certain brands noted for failing faster, and some have more reliability? And even if the brand that we approved doesn't quite have the quality of something that, a different brand, why can't we choose the better brand?
We do
The one-
choose a better brand from an operational perspective. So everything gets taken into account. Some vehicles, we choose the brand based off of what the vehicle is used for, how big the vehicle is, does it travel on narrow roads to get to canals. Some we choose because they're better for heavy duty hauling. But that is not something that would, as a public agency, we don't come out of the gate saying we like one brand over another. We have to take a number of factors into place.
That makes
Understood.
sense.
It was just, some are obviously breaking down and some are not. That's all.
And remember, we have a whole mechanic shop and they're amazing. So some things that a personal person might deal with, we're more well suited to handle. All right, so before we totally get going, Chris, can you pop up the presentation? All right, there we go. Is this working? Yeah. Okay. The bar graph that is shown, and first, before we get started, I do want to give a huge thank you to Corey. Corey's not in here right now, and Sandra for assisting with putting all of this together, as well as all staff who contributed. It is a very heavy lift. And if the board will recall, we do have a couple of processes that we go through to develop these projects. One is we go through a capital improvement program scoring system that allows us to help prioritize projects within the same funds. And then we also go through a vehicle scoring system that helps us analyze whether or not a vehicle is ready to be replaced or needed to be replaced. And those take into account a lot more things than just, for example, for vehicles, we don't just replace at a specific mileage. We also look at needed reliability, what the vehicle is used for. We look at mileage, but also we look at ongoing maintenance costs, whether it's had any specific issues. And then once we complete that analysis, even if we are replacing a specific vehicle, we do find if there is a better use for it within another department in the district. So we do a lot of vehicle shifting around. A lot of vehicles end up in recreation for a period of time.
Right. You know what, Jennifer, I had another overall arching question about the level of spending. And that is, since you commented that you guys are taking a longer look, 5-year, 10 years, so that we can normalize rates and so on as it relates to our capital program. What do you think, if you were to estimate is this going to continue to rise over the next 5 years? And if so, like, are we going to go from 15 to 25 million to 30 million? I mean, do you have any kind of
Yeah,
ballpark?
we have pretty much a base capital expenditure that is related to more routine repair and replacement. And that does typically run about 5 to 7 million for water, 5 to 6 million for hydro. And then internal services fund, that's primarily grant related projects or improvements to this building or implementation of the Tyler ERP. In the upcoming rate period and the rate model, we do have some large expenditures related to Scotts Flat Spillway, as well as hydropower projects also impact the rates.
Right.
So there are some also large expenditures related to the Chicago Park refurbishment and some of the dam repair work that we have to do. So there is some big fluctuations, but what we do is we essentially save reserves from any one year to be able to offset revenue needs for a future year.
So from what you just said, is it true to assume that this 15 million, because you talked about sort of a base, is, give or take $1 million is our base, what we need in capital every year to continue to do the maintenance and so on?
That would be a little bit high. It's probably more like 11 or 12, because in water capital and in internal services as well as hydro, there's some expenditures that are needed in 2026 to support those larger projects. So for example, in Fund 70, the Tyler ERP implementation and the work order system component of that's included. Hydro Capital has purchasing of a transformer. We had to pay half of the deposit.
Remember this, yeah.
And then in Water Capital, there are, I think it's about $1 million for Scotts Flat Spillway that's related to some of the additional kind of soft costs, which are engineering and environmental work. And then also recall, everything is a lot more expensive right now. So we have been having to add about 25% on top of a normal cost estimate. Bids are coming in extremely high. So you might see about the same number of dollars, but probably a little bit less projects.
Okay.
And and baseline was last year, or was it 4 years ago? I mean,
Baseline's
we're
always
seeing
been
20
about the same. The 25% is just this last year we've seen. a
yeah.
huge increase. Yeah.
So it's safe to say that next year we're going to see, we're going to need to spend more on the capital budget.
Yeah, it's related to
Because of
tariffs and labor shortages.
Mhm.
construction projects are just coming in a whole lot more expensive.
Okay, thank you. I kind of thought that was right, but I wanted to hear from you that, in fact, yes, we will be boosting that capital budget. Not just related to the bigger projects, but overall. Yeah,
Yes, and
we're gonna
yeah,
have,
well, also in the upcoming rate period, we're starting to plan for more systematic replacement of infrastructure. So you
Mhm.
will see categories
Right.
that are related to treated water main replacement,
Mhm.
consistent repairs to the South Yuba Canal. So there are some larger general categories as well.
Okay, thank you.
And that replacement has never, and, or repair has never really been accounted for previously.
No, it's been accounted for under the old method prior to me being here. It was in those programmatic.
Mhm.
As it
repair.
happened.
Kind of, there's still an ongoing list, but what we did this year is we did a deep dive into kind of these historic long-term repair and replacement lists and really start looking at things just from a more pragmatic perspective on consistent replacement.
Yeah.
And why we're doing what projects we're proposing.
It's so much more prudent to do it this way.
Yeah,
It just results
accurate.
in better expenditure of funds. It's really important that we get the biggest bang for our buck when we're replacing something, not doing
Exactly.
the easiest project that
Yep.
might not need to be done.
Yeah, good move.
Thank you.
All right, so we have about a total of 15 million this year.
Mhm.
So this slide is just indicating the capital budget by division, and there's a bar chart that's a rainbow of colors. So you can see a lot of projects are housed in the engineering department, and those are our heavier projects that require more engineering design. All right, and now we have Chip is up.
Hey, Chip.
Good morning, Chip.
Vertical.
Hi.
These are treated water.
Yeah,
Project.
morning, board staff, public, Chip Close, Director of Water Operations. This morning, we'll start off with our Lake of the Pines Water Treatment Plant chemical tanks. That'd be on the next slide. So this is essentially adding 2 more chemical storage tanks at the Lake of the Pines treatment plant. The goal at all of these treatment plants is to have a level of redundancy for these critical chemicals. This project will add 2 more of those tanks that you see on the right and give us full redundancy at that plant. And I think this gets us almost there at all the plants once this project is done. That's the good news. The very tall tank you see on the left, that is the old lime silo. We have switched away from that. It's no longer dry powdered chemical. It's all liquid now, much safer for the employees and for the environment. So that's the good news.
So Jeff, could you elaborate on that? I was a little confused when I read this. I go, oh, there was a switch. It was the chemical switch. Were the tanks removed already or not?
Yeah, what's gonna happen to that big tall
So
tank?
that big tall thing will get removed and trucked away and disposed of. And then 2 more little white tanks like you see there on the right-hand side in that picture will be installed in its place. And yes, we have already abandoned that tall.
Already using the chemical.
We were using it. We have abandoned that chemical. We've moved on to a liquid chemical now. So, yeah,
Is there a hazmat issue with that tank?
it's fully empty at this point. Yeah. So it's not a hazmat issue. And in fact, this will be the 3rd one we've removed. The last 2, I believe we contracted with Hanson Brothers and they repurposed them. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is
Excellent.
great.
Okay, and just like Jennifer has said, there's a lot of vehicles and operations that we're replacing, and a lot of them are beat up. A lot of them have a lot of miles. Almost every vehicle you see in our list is going to be at that 140,000 mile mark or better. This is in water treatment. They're known for not getting as beat up as the trucks we use on the canal berms.
Mhm.
So these a lot of times will get repurposed to recreation or pool vehicles for maintenance. So that's what you see on this one. Next is distribution, and the same thing here. All these trucks you're going to see are pretty high mileage. I will also add to Rich's comment earlier, you'll see quite a few Chevy Colorados on this list. We really did have a lot of trouble with those. We can't even get transmissions for them. We have now moved on to other makes, and recently we've been doing some purchases of Toyotas and Nissans to give those a go to see A, if they're better mileage, and B, if there's better reliability there. But all of these purchases, I believe, are referenced either through the state contract or we do multiple bids to try to get the best price.
Are we having better luck with diesels lasting longer than the gas powered or?
You know, as far as these light duty trucks, I don't think we have any diesels. We're pretty much all gas at this level. Yeah.
That was my same question.
Beat you to it.
So you can see another Colorado, 150,000 miles in 2026. Another one will have 145,000 miles. And then another one at 150,000 miles in June. And although I said we have had our issues with them, I mean, that's still pretty good mileage out of that truck. So,
For gas powered, yeah.
yeah. And then moving on, our electrical systems. So this is our PLC replacements. The PLCs are basically, think of them as the computer that's running the treatment plant. It's the brains of the computer. It's just like your computer at home. In time, those get old. They're no longer supported by the manufacturer. They need upgrades. That's what we've run into here. This is actually going to be the third or fourth year in a row. The good news is these are the last two remaining. So once we get through these two, we'll be all current, at least for a few years before manufacturer changes their mind. So there's those two. And then this is a electrical department utility truck. This one is 140,000 miles by June of 26. We tend to push these a little bit further than the half-ton trucks. And in fact, this one here is going to get replaced, but is more than likely going to be repurposed. And part of this is due to the Air Resources Board regulations. So we're trying to get as many of these replaced as we can before we're forced to be fully electric, which we're not opposed to. It just comes at a very high price. That's all.
Simple question. I've asked this before, but I look at this picture here, and it looks like the bed and rack are older than the truck. Are we reusing the beds and racks, and how often? And what
Yes.
would be the determining factor on that?
Well, when we can, right? So if we get a truck off a state contract and we're limited to which ones we can buy, the bed doesn't always fit. But a lot of times we're able to buy the exact same truck and we can repurpose that. When we can, we do. Doesn't always work out that way.
Thank you.
Water resources. So this is the proposal to put a gauging station on the tar at Hog Chute. Right now we have a gauging station that's really just a rated section, meaning we just look at the canal, we measure the width, depth, and the velocity and try to get a reading. It's not a very accurate way of doing it. The tar canal itself is the longest canal we have at 26 plus miles with 45 CFS in it. It's very important to get measurements along the way. This is a critical point for us. And so we're proposing to put in a fully developed rated section. And the amount at $120,000 is a little bit steep. That is in there in case we have to contract this out, but we're in ongoing talks with Steve and maintenance to maybe have our own crews put it in. If we have the time and time allows us to do that, we will have some money savings on that. But either way, we're covered. It's a very important measurement station for us.
Where's the Hog Chute?
Oh, you're going to call me on that.
I know, I was wondering too. Thank you for
Just
asking.
below the B takeout, the B canal.
Okay. And then my offer for an easement to put a tower up, but, you know,
So,
at our rear.
oh, yeah.
Huh?
Gotcha.
Free easement from
Yeah.
Reach?
This one actually does
Including
include that.
recording costs.
Rich, it does have all the telemetry and all of the solar power to run the station, so.
It
But I-
won't take 20, 30 feet up, you'll put right on in.
There you go. All right, and that's it for me. I mean, there's other projects and I'll be glad to jump in if there's questions, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Chip.
Thanks, Chip.
Next.
Maybe I don't need my own slides. Good morning, Gabe Arno, Director of Engineering. All right, so, oh, I control them. Okay. Oh, wrong way. All right, Gold Hill diversion. This is an old embankment, earthen embankment diversion with a corroded pipe coming through it. And the project at its core, it's a little nondescript because it describes the problem and then the solution is to fix the problem. But it is that simple. We'll cut out the pipe, replace the pipe. It'll all get recompacted and repaired. And so it's really a repair and replacement project in kind. See, I'll move through these. The Lake Wildwood, oh, I'm in charge again. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to look up here. The Lake Wildwood treatment plant we have a budget here of 250,000 and we describe it as a project. But really what this is an allowance for additional care and attention that this facility needs since we've postponed its categorical replacement. So we have an annual budget that you're going to see every year for a few years just to go address something that comes up or that the operations team deems needed in the moment. You know, and they have a number of hot spots that they're watching, and we'll be addressing them as they become more critical. The Loma Rica Dam, Division of Safety of Dams has some unsuitable materials at its base, and they either want us to rebuild the embankment and address this with a larger geotechnical project, or as we've come to a solution with the operations team, we can lower the water level permanently with a notched spillway such that it's no longer jurisdictional under the Division of Safety of Dams and no longer a threat. And yes, we do lose a little bit of storage volume, but it's been determined that that is not needed operationally. And the better and most cost-effective solution is to come in, notch the spillway so that the high water level is lower. We're no longer jurisdictional and problem solved.
Gabe?
Yes.
How many days supply of water there?
That is a great question, technical question. I don't know the answer to. Maybe Chip or.
And it's not going to affect that much to lower it just a little bit.
It'll cut that back.
Yeah.
But in the end, the price of rebuild things.
Yeah.
I thought there had been some talk about decommissioning this in some way, just that we didn't need it. Do you remember that, Dustin? Yeah.
I remember some discussion.
Yeah. Is that still?
I think those questions were asked, but I think the answer was we still want it. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, that's good to know. Thank you.
I think it operates like a large day tank to mitigate peak flows coming, demanded from the plant and differential from the steady flow coming to the plant.
Oh, okay.
So the volume is useful. It will be missed, but the value of the repair is not
Right.
there.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
The Newtown Canal diversion takes water out of Deer Creek, and there's an error in here that says it goes to Lake of the Pines. It actually goes to Lake Wildwood.
Mhm.
And this is an old structure. It's operating at capacity. No additional water can be diverted. I believe it's near 100 years old. And so this budget here is not actually for the repair, but to plan and study and possibly design the repair. And then once we figure out what that is, it'll be a construction project.
Will that require CEQA for raising?
Yes, it will. And part of that budget is to cover the planning, the CEQA, the permitting, and at least get a grip on everything that's needed to implement an actual improvement. So yes. The Red Dog shotgun culvert is a term I'm getting used to. Hey, what are these shotguns I keep hearing about? But they're basically parallel culverts, see the box culverts or round culverts. And this is just an aged culvert and that needs to be replaced. And so that's on our list, our to-do list.
Does shotgun refer to the type of culvert or the location?
I think it's the double barrel,
Double
right? So you can have a big canal
Mhm.
and then and instead of having one monster round culvert that's maybe tall, you have two smaller ones. So you control your profile under, say, a road.
Mhm.
The Ridge Road pipeline replacement, this is through on Ridge Road near Morgan Ranch. And as I understand it, there's an old pipeline, so it's aged. And at some point when Morgan Ranch was developed, they kind of raised the profile of the road through the intersection. And so the pipe's very deep. And they did have a really significant failure a couple years ago. They created a big sinkhole, like 14 feet deep, shut down traffic in every direction. And so this is just a repair and replacement project. We'll bring the pipe up to grade. And by grade, I mean 30 inches of cover or so. So it's accessible.
So we're currently doing or have done work on Cypress Hill.
Hughes
On-
Road. They're on Hughes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's
Yes.
gonna connect into this?
Yes. So this picture, well, both pictures are at the intersection of Ridge and Sierra College. And then is the road that goes to the left down Morgan Ranch. I don't know if it has a different name. So this project will bring a pipeline from this intersection up to Ridge and Hughes approximately as I understand it, replacing an old pipe and connecting to directly to or near the Hughes Road project that you're mentioning. Rough and Ready Roundabout, right around the corner from our office here. The county has a plan to change that intersection at Ridge Road and Rough and Ready Highway to a roundabout. We have a pipeline that's in an awkward spot in their plan there, and this project will shift it out so that it's in the shoulder or right of way and accessible to NID and not in the center of the roundabout where we'd have to, it'd be a big disruption.
With the amount of money, since,
That's my question.
yeah, you know, it's the counties,
They're driving it, yes.
they're driving it and they want it. And so I'm just wondering if they're going to contribute to our cost for.
Are they paying
realignment.
for it?
I may need help answering that question exactly, but I understand that we don't have a controlling easement there. They're going to give us a new easement for free, but we have to pay the cost of the relocation.
If you're located there first before another entity puts in their infrastructure, then you have like a priority easement. If you're not located there first, then you have to pay to move your own infrastructure.
So we went across the intersection after the road.
I'm assuming so, yeah.
Okay, that answers my question. 'Cause I
Mhm.
go, is this a thing that we want to do?
We don't want our water line in the roundabout.
We don't want it.
Right.
So we're saying we're willing to help fund that. to do-
Correct. I believe that technically we could leave it there, but it would be in a spot that we don't ever want to get to.
That answers my question.
Mhm.
So how big the new pipe, how big will it be? Will it be to backbone extension standards, 18-inch or?
Of
That's-
course it will be.
That's a great question, and it should be. Yes. So right now, do we say the size on here? I don't have there.
No.
I believe it's like a 10-inch, and that would not be suitable for the backbone extension. So we'll have to, if we relocate it in that spot, we'll have to consider what it needs to be for the backbone.
Coordination of that.
Yeah.
How long a pipe we were putting in? A couple 100 feet or?
Yes, I believe that's right, at the most. Yeah, it's just outside the roundabout,
Gotcha.
in the road, around the roundabout, and back in the road. I hear you, Rich.
Get to a microphone.
Scotts Flat spillway repair, you've heard about a number of times, and this budget is basically for a limited section of that project. It's not the 20, 30 million you've heard about for the real spillway. This is tree removal, access road improvements. So it's a limited project, a limited piece of the Scotts Flat spillway work. The Smith Road crossing, this we'll talk about who pays for this in a second. This is driven by a Caltrans widening project. And there's going to be two projects. There's this crossing, and then there's a PRV that we'll talk about next. But just bringing them both together, Caltrans is widening the road and going to incur on our PRV station and our pipeline crossing from LeBar Meadows over to this location. And so we're going to put in a new pipe in a better spot, and we're also going to relocate the PRV. For the pipe, Caltrans is going to reimburse us for this. We'll have to move it, and they'll reimburse us for it. And for the PRV station, we could leave it there on the edge of what's becoming a freeway, but we're going to relocate it up by LeBar Meadows. And here's the next one, the PRV station. This one is on NID. So it's underground, it's aged. The existing one is in a what will become an even poorer location. And so we've elected to relocate it.
What is the pressure on that? I mean, it's gravity?
Well, it's gravity from a tank up on the hill above LeBar Meadows, and it comes down to LeBar Meadows at a very high pressure. I'm going to make up some numbers just to share a story, but I'm not exactly sure.
It needs to be reduced.
It needs to be reduced twice, actually. So it's, I think it's a 230 PSI up coming down the hill at LeBar Meadows, and we step it down to, I'm going to make it up numbers, 250, and then down to 180, 150 or something like that. So there's a series of pressure reducing stations here.
That's why they're so expensive.
Yeah, apologies to have to make up numbers. I hope they're close.
Okay. Get it.
Summit Ridge tank. This is a bolted steel tank up at the top of the hill in Cascade Shores. It's an inferior technology to, say, a welded steel tank. It has a whole, 1,000 bolts in it on the inside that corrode with chlorinated water and the gas space above the chlorinated water. And so you can see on the picture here on the left, it looks really good from the outside. It is really in good condition on the outside, but on the inside, a lot of those bolt holes are corroded. And then in the airspace above the water level where cascading influent chlorinated water aerates and lets off chlorine gas, there's a lot of corrosion on the crown, the upper part of the tank and the top of the pipe, top of the tank, the cover, to the point where there's actually little pinholes of light coming through in some spots. So this project will put a new top on the tank. Ideally, we'd like to replace the whole tank, but we're putting that off a little longer. And I think that's it for engineering.
Thank you.
Comment there?
Yes.
You're
Yes.
drinking very well from the fire hose. I really like how well you've come a mile or a million miles since starting here.
Earl, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
He's a good one.
Drinking from the fire.
Good morning, Steve Prosser, Director of Maintenance. So for the maintenance department, all of our capital requests are either regulatory compliance or end of useful life for the assets. So we'll go through this pretty quickly. For treated water, we're looking at 2 vehicles. One that's been out of service longer than it's been in service, needs to be replaced and upgraded. So it's a 1-ton flatbed. It's used when in service, it's used daily. It's integral to our construction crew. Our 3/4 utility bed truck, again, is for facilities maintenance, used daily, and will be upgraded. For vegetation, again, primarily regulatory compliance. So there's requirements for our storage of chemicals. So we need to upgrade our existing vegetation shed to have better control and security.
How big is that shed? How big do you need?
I think we're increasing it by about either 14 by 14 or 20 by 20.
And what is it now?
About 20 by 20,
Oh, okay.
Depends on how much you have on hand.
pretty much. We try to purchase in bulk for cost savings, and we purchase about 2 to 3 times a year. So we do need to store, have controlled storage of that material. Replacement of a vehicle for vegetation control, again, end of useful life. And even though they are end of useful life, they are, depending on condition, transferred to other departments that can continue to utilize them for cost efficiency, primarily recreation. Our side-by-sides is a very important tool for vegetation control, for getting through canals and berms, to be able to do their daily work. Raw water, only request, again, into useful life is a small mini excavator. Again, it is the go-to tool for canal maintenance and cleanup. We are replacing one that is at its end of life. And that's it for me for now. I'll be back for fleet. Thank you.
Just a simple question. How many hours do you have on that mini excavator? You know?
I do not know, but I'll probably get a text in about 2 minutes and let you know.
Thank you.
Good morning, board, NID staff, members of the public. Peter Wade, Director of Power Systems, here to talk about the Fund 55 hydroelectric capital. Any questions before we begin?
Just a comment. Your priority ratings were quite a bit higher in the 80s, 70s. So
It always appears to be that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the driving,
Division scores their own. So you see divisions end up being consistent within themselves, but those projects don't compete against each other because of funding sources.
no, it's within each department or division.
Each fund.
Yeah, each fund, yeah. But it just seemed like, let's see, an 89 or 87 and then a 66.
Yeah, it's, some people would be harder on grading themselves than others would be. Right.
Well, but there's a lot to be done.
There's a lot to be done.
Lots of-
and overall, many of our projects do land in reliability and they're single source. So if an item breaks, if the item we're looking at replacing, refurbishing breaks, we can't generate, we can't pass water, or there's regulatory authority that attaches to that replacement, that refurbishment project. So those two things can drive that score up quite a
Okay.
bit.
Yeah, if you'll recall, remember the scoring sheet.
Mhm.
Peter brings up a valid point. It does have points for, is it a revenue generating project or protecting revenue? Is it have any potential backup or alternative use?
So Hydro's bringing in 24 to 25 million a year in revenues. So to your point, if revenue is cut off because something breaks,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, has a
Yeah,
big
or-
impact on budget.
Big impact, yeah.
All right, so we'll jump right in. This is the Chicago Park Powerhouse refurbishment. You've heard about this previously, I believe. The overall project is in the $4 million plus range. This $2 million that we're asking for next year is primarily for a down payment on a transformer replacement for to begin the refurbishment project. That transformer replacement is a long lead time item. Manufacturers typically require that 50% down payment to get in the queue, and then it can be up to 4 years once we order it. It is a direct replacement with what we have today with the same footprint, same capacity, and same connections.
Mhm. Wow, 4 years.
any of this works on magnets?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
The core is magnetic iron inside of the transformer, and that's how it steps up or steps down the voltage that it operates on. But it doesn't directly use a permanent magnet like we might think about. As a
Because the
traditional-
word yesterday was supply of magnetic material is very short in the world.
Yeah, so this uses raw resources of copper, a fair amount of copper in the winding, and then the iron in the magnetic core. Any other questions about the Chicago Park project?
Good to start it.
All right, the next one is the Deer Creek excitation upgrade. And this is to replace the obsolete excitation that's there today. No questions. I'm going to move right along. Feel free to interrupt if you guys have a question. Dutch flat number 2, RTU replacement. This is a remote terminal unit is what an RTU is. It's a communication device that our SCADA operates through to control the unit. And this one is 20 years old at the end of its useful life, and we are choosing to replace it. The next project is the French Lake low-level outlet gate improvements.
Change that.
Oh, let me click. All right, French Lake low-level outlet gate improvements. This is a regulatory required project for the reliability of the intake gate. The low-level outlet of each of our regulated reservoirs has specific requirements from DSOD or FERC, depending on the regulation there. And this gate has had some problems with its reliability, with the hydraulic line that fills and operates the gate. And we've got divers scheduled to look at it this fall, and then the replacement next year. Any questions? All right, this is the communication microwave link for the Whitcomb facility, the new hydroelectric headquarters in Grass Valley. And as we're anticipating moving into that new headquarters, we'll need new communications there. So this is money to begin that communications project. This is not the full amount needed. We anticipate that it will be spread over 26, 27. All right, the next project, project 2432, is the hydroelectric field office development, the Whitcomb property. And this is for $2 million to perform the site improvements necessary for us to begin moving.
I have a question. So this says make repairs to the roof. I thought we put a new roof on this like a year or so ago. Hydroelectric field office development.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So, because I know that we put a new roof
No,
on.
so the
Your
roof-
point is correct.
The roof is done, yes.
I see. Okay. All right. Just was checking if, did we have a failure or something?
On the original estimate was like 6 million to refurbish the building or something like that. Is that correct? To
No, it was 6 million total, including the cost.
purchase?
Yeah.
So this is in line.
Mhm.
And just to point out the savings of it, is
Yes.
Yes.
going to be considerable each year.
The other alternative was to build a whole new campus.
Right. This was quite
on
a
that
good
vacant
deal
piece of
here.
Property that we own.
Yeah.
Right, next we have the Rollins Powerhouse Governor Replacement Project, project number 2392. And this project is to complete the governor replacement that has been begun already. And we need approximately $100,000 to finish this work. And this is well underway this year. Next, we have the Rucker Creek Spill Gate replacement. You've heard about this several times this year already, and the work to purchase the gates is underway. This $30,000 is to complete the installation, and this anticipates us using our hydroelectric crew for labor, and the $30,000 is for materials to complete that installation. Next, we have the South Yuba Canal, the 8.5-mile slide repair. And this is for $500,000 to progress the slide stability and the work on above the canal there.
So my question was, this 500,000, is that simply to do the study and the evaluation, or does it also include some fixing?
It will likely include some fixing.
Some fixing. Okay. And then do we need to get this done before the rains and, all that is going to come?
It's
to us this
likely not going to
winter?
get done before the rains this year.
No, okay.
Yeah, so we'll cover the slide as we have in past years to keep additional moisture off of the slide material and try to stabilize it over the winter period. I don't think we have any other construction plans.
No,
this year.
sorry.
Go ahead.
This will not happen this year. We have too much homework to get done and figure out where spoils will go if we try to lay back remember I described this project last time for related to the discussion on the
Yep.
25 work as having two components. One, this immediate upper slide that we cover operationally to keep the water off and try to stabilize it.
Mhm.
And number two being the bigger look at the overall bank. This budget here is for next year to try to lay back that bank, the first part of it.
Got it.
What does
It won't
layback,
happen this year.
describe what layback would look like or what it would do?
Yeah, so right now the slope is like almost 1-to-1. It's pretty steep, and sometimes that can hold depending on the geology. And there was already a project at PG&E implemented to lay it back, I think, to 1.25-to-1. So they tried to shallow it up already in this spot. And my proposal is that that's a good idea. It still wasn't enough. It wasn't shallow enough for the material that's there. So it's a good solution. Let's try to pull a little more off there and
Reduces the steepness.
correct. That's what I mean by shallow. Yes, yes.
Do we have any monitoring on there, inclinometers or anything to routine surveys to see what's shifting in any way, shape, or form?
We're talking about updating our survey to lock in its positioning and have benchmarks. There's already been some surveying done, but doing more of that so that we can monitor the movement, or maybe it's not moving at all. But
No
there's,
cracks in the canal, so the concrete, so that's a
the
great.
concrete looks great. Yeah, where we all went, or some of us went and saw it and looked at the new inlet and outlet that translates from the old flume to the new flume on either end of the repair. It looks really good. Yeah,
there
so
a-
that's
Does it
promising.
Need to put anything in for monitoring before the winter hits, just to make sure we can get a heads up if something is moving? Change the priority of this?
Well, that is a fair question, and I don't know if we need to, right? The more we monitor and improve, the better. But right now, it's not at the top of the list. We were just gonna kind of do what we did last year, cover the bank, cross our fingers a little bit.
They cover it with plastic and then monitor it
How are they monitoring it
visually.
visually? Okay. Looking for the cracks in the concrete. Yeah.
And also making sure there's not big caverns blowing out.
We also have real-time flow monitoring.
Is this the section that Kean went out that one Sunday afternoon in the in the snowcat and rescued that couple
It's on the way there.
on the way there?
It's a little bit of the Wild West out there.
It is.
Yeah.
Pretty country.
Thanks. Okay.
All right, then moving beyond this for the Fund 55 hydroelectric admin, we have a number of other additional capital projects shown here. Jump right through these. Bowman North Dam upstream lining improvements. And if this looks familiar, it's because we've had this is a multi-year program. As we've managed the reservoir, when the reservoir drops lower than the previous year, then we make additional repairs to the face of the dam there. We haven't dropped that reservoir intentionally to do those repairs at this point, and then we're monitoring the previous year's repairs. The Bowman South Arch Dam repair. This money is to begin to evaluate options on where and what to repair on the upstream and downstream side of the dam. The upstream side of the dam had a cover placed over it under PG&E sponsorship, under the old power purchase agreement with PG&E. That's now at the end of its useful life, and we need to make some decisions about what we're going to do with that. And then on the upstream side of the dam, there's some spalls, some areas that have been targeted for repair. Next, we have the Bowman transmission line pole replacement project. This is to replace, I believe it's up to 10 poles that have been identified that need to be replaced on this 60 kV transmission line. These, pardon me, many of these poles are in very difficult to get to locations. The materials have to be helicoptered in. The crew will be supported by a helicopter in the area during the line replacement, during the pole replacement, so that the line doesn't lay on the ground.
I want to know how they put those poles in before helicopters.
I know.
Those places are.
Fuel.
Yeah, so they did have ground crews with
Yeah.
like a dozer with a drill on the back of it.
I was going to say, how'd they drill a hole in the rocks?
But those would be more expensive to run today than the helicopters are even, so it'd take longer.
How many specialized contractors are there?
Like in Northern California, there's a handful.
Are there?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right, with no additional questions, we'll move to the Chicago Park flume control upgrade. This is to replace the SCADA and the AB programmable logic controller for our flume controls. We have a number of locations along the flume that have monitoring, and we use this controller to help watch over and care for the flume to ensure that there's no leaks, that water is moving the way it should be. Additionally, at Chicago Park, we have a flume intake gate slot repair. This year during normal inspections, we found iron and steel on the gate slot that was significantly deformed. And this is through the process of use. So this gate is used to throttle and control the inlet to the Chicago Park flume. And so all day long, as there's any kind of level change on the reservoir or flow change in the flume, that gate goes up and down automatically to make sure that the desired flow is met through the canal. And the corresponding steel, let me back up for a moment. This is a large wheeled gate, approximately 20 feet wide and 30 feet tall. A wheeled gate has, imagine train wheels on the side of the gate that support the thrust load from the flow pushing on it. And so the embedded steel that's in the concrete that mates to the gate, where those wheels ride on that steel, there's wear. So just like you would have on a train on the rail where it gets flattened or mushroomed, that steel begins to deform over time with use. And so the steel needs to be, eventually needs to be replaced. And how do you replace embedded steel? You have to jackhammer the concrete out around it, cut that concrete out, remove that, replace that. tie the rebar all back together, tie the steel back in. It's a bit of a project.
Yeah, it is a bit. It is.
All right. Next, we have the Deer Creek Power Pole replacement. Much like the Bowman transmission line, this is regular replacement of wooden poles in a power line system. 15 poles, $125,000.
You mean PG&E didn't replace them before they gave it to us?
They did not, these do not require helicopter support.
Right. And we're replacing them with what? With the cement?
No, we're replacing them with a new wooden pole.
A new wooden pole?
Yeah.
Okay.
In-kind replacement with a new wooden pole.
Okay.
The next project we have is a Dutch Flat 4-bay drain line repair. So on the toe of the dam, you know, all earth embankment dams leak. They're not designed or intended to leak, but they're designed to accommodate that leakage. And so we collect that leakage and we monitor that leakage. We want to make sure that that leakage occurs in a safe way and a way that we can monitor it. So we have a drain line under the bottom of the dam, at the toe of the dam, that isn't performing as intended. There's a blockage in that drain. We've had several attempts to unblock that. It's not full blockage. We put a camera in the drain. We go back about 100 feet up into that drain, and we can see this partial blockage. So now we need to dig that up and restore that drain.
What is causing the blockage? Magnesium precipitant, or is it like a siltation, or?
So in the camera reports that we've seen, it's not consistent or clear. We think it was either screening material that was originally intended to prevent rodents into the system during construction that was not removed, or it could be some kind of earthen material like rock bedding material that came into this drain line. So the drain line is fed by a collection system, and the collection system is just a fancy way to say a pipe with holes in it. The pipe with holes in it has to be bedded properly so the bedding material doesn't migrate into that pipe. Usually it's significantly larger than the holes.
Are we replacing the, all of it? Or
No, we're digging up one specific section and looking at replacing that collection system around that area and repairing it.
if it's coming in from above and we're not replacing that, we're gonna have the same problem, or we don't?
No, the area above it is under the toe of the dam. So this is just below the toe of the dam. We believe that this can be targeted specifically with a minimized footprint of the project.
Well, where's the water currently going? Does it just come out of the dam somewhere?
Yeah, great question. We have 4 monitoring locations at the toe of the dam that we have each one flows into a weir box. We read that weir as part of our regular safety work on the dam, or we report out, and then it flows into the natural drainage below the dam.
So just like we saw at Scott's Flat.
And typically these are measured in 5 GPM, less than 5 GPM. It's just a very minor seepage flow. We're looking for consistency. We're looking for that it's not carrying material, right? That the dam's not degrading in any way. Next, we have the South Yuba Canal maintenance. This year in 2025, we replaced a number of sections of linen flume. That's what's shown on the right photograph here, where it's a half semicircle formed sheet metal flume. We find areas where there's pinholes or there's corrosion or there's some very minor damage, but the sheets need to be replaced when that occurs. We've also replaced some timbers and timber work there. I think some of you may have seen that in the past.
Do you have an estimate of how much water we were losing at this one location?
I do not.
Yeah, just curious.
Looks significant, doesn't
It
it?
does, but
Yeah.
this holistic thing about.
Yeah, right.
everything-
I'm right there with you. I've been for a long time. Yeah, this looks significant to me. So yay, we're repairing it. That's good.
All right, so lastly, here we have Fund 55 hydro operations capital projects, and these are all related to vehicle replacement. There are 4 vehicles here slated for replacement.
Pretty much the same.
So,
Yeah, as you can imagine, our hydro operations team travels throughout the upper country, so reliability of their vehicles is paramount to us. We don't want them to become disabled or stuck or have a reliability, a maintenance issue on their truck while they're out doing their work.
No EVs, right?
We currently have no EVs in our hydro fleet. That's correct. So the first one here is shown as a replacement with H5446 2017 Tundra. Currently has 136,000 miles, anticipated to have 150 next year.
Yeah, it looks like all the vehicles are pretty similar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like they're the same except for this one. So this
Good riddance.
So H5447 is similar to the previous. H5469 also similar to the previous. And the Dodge is the one that's different from the others here, but it'll also have over 130,000 miles by next year. And then lastly, we have one capital project for our hydro maintenance. Again, it's a truck replacement. You're all seated, so I can show you this is $175,000. This is a specialized vehicle. And this is the current cost to outfit this type of heavy duty utility truck.
And the same question Earl had earlier, is the bed can be reused, or does the price include a whole new bed? It sounds like a big chunk of money.
There's a winch on it too, right?
Yeah, no, they have to be completely outfitted. So if
Yeah.
we can reuse specific components of this one, we will.
That was my guess.
Yeah, I believe the whole truck gets repurposed within the district elsewhere.
Yeah, but we'll also take parts off of it. So
Yeah.
if we push that truck somewhere that doesn't need the bed, then we can reuse the bed if it's still in usable condition.
This is a diesel here,
It is, yes.
and I know you have that scoring system, et cetera, but 140,000 miles is pretty low for a diesel. I mean, you can get 250 out of them in a heartbeat usually. Is it the repairs on it, or is it the unreliability, or what's triggering this?
The overall wear and tear on the vehicle, the suspension, the drivetrain, everything. And again, we're taking it up to Bowman, up to Jackson Meadows,
Yeah.
up to our upper country areas, doing transmission support work out there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, when we do our score sheet for vehicles, we look at it, some vehicles are critical. Again, we do not want hydros personnel to be stranded. So although it may have reached its useful life in their department, we can refurbish it for other departments which has less travel distance and less maintenance costs. So on this type of vehicle, it is customized. So it is limited on reusing these specialized beds, but we do everything we can to.
Would we be able to use this like to pull a mini excavator and stuff like that? Is that one of the repurposings we could?
Yes, we either a backup for one of the maintenance vehicles or provide it to recreations maintenance team so they can utilize it at a campground where they're not leaving. And so there's not an issue of being stranded. Those are the types of reuse we do.
Okay, thank you.
Recreation gets a lot of these.
As many employees as they have trucks.
Well, they go through their
I know, because they
used
get
new
the
truck-
hand-me-downs.
new to them truck
Yeah.
quickly.
They get-
All right, with no further questions, that concludes my portion of the capital presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Great.
All right, then we just have these two Fund 70 projects. The ADA transition plan. So the district has had a transition plan developed, and what that does is allows for compliance with federal regulations related to accessibility requirements. And when you have a transition plan, you're essentially provided some legal protections as long as you make some progress towards the projects identified or improvements identified in the transition plan. And so you'll see this coming every year. There'll be a little bit of money every year that is spent on making these improvements. And then the charging stations at the district, Steve, you want to talk about that real quick? Or Gabe?
Well, it is a joint project between engineering and maintenance.
Group project.
It is for the Advanced Clean Fleets requirements of the state of California and CARB, California Air Resources Board, of requiring that any medium-duty vehicles are larger by January 1st, 2027. All new purchases would need to be electric. Right now, we are in a transition phase. We've been purchasing them where we are required to purchase or obtain exemptions of purchase for electric vehicles on a one-to-one basis. So every internal combustible engine vehicle we purchase that would qualify for that size, we would have to, our next purchase would have to be electric unless we receive a waiver. That's till January 2027. Then it's all vehicles, medium or heavy duty, would be required to be purchased as electric unless we can obtain an exemption. So what we are needing to do for this site, we're focusing our purchases if we do need to purchase electric vehicles to the main yard, trying our best to push off our placer yard, hydro facilities and recreation facilities as long as possible. If we can utilize the vehicles at the Grass Valley yard, then we can provide more reliability for our satellite locations. We are in we're in conversations with PG&E currently to obtain a grant to provide the upgrade to the main power line that serves the site so that we can get that infrastructure in to be able to install those, the charges that would be required.
So we're kind of facing the same thing, that our current electric system doesn't support charging systems or charging stations. I mean, I'm this down on a ranch, and what I'm seeing here is a new meter. How big? 400 amp service.
We're looking at, well, our needs to based on our studies is between 450 and 550 kilowatts. And right now the service provided through our main line is about half that.
Yeah. So the transformer has to be.
We would have the plan that as currently proposed, and we are in discussions with PG&E, is extending the main line that's between us and the cemetery to the back of the yard and install a new transformer.
And it didn't shock me until we started adding it up at the ranch in Orland, what going electric really requires. And I guess I can't cuss here, but
Well,
No, you can't.
what I can tell you is
Might get mad.
is the PG&E funds to do this is going to be very helpful for us, significant for this infrastructure. It's basically, it's their Rural 29 program where they upgrade infrastructure for businesses, nonprofits, local governments that are electrifying their fleets. So they provide the construction, design to the transformer, including installing the transformer. And then those costs are then written off if after 5 years of service. So as long as we electrify our fleet and utilize the electricity that they're providing, then that cost is covered by this program.
So is that 250,000 our contribution?
Well,
PG&E pays the rest? Is that?
that 250,000 is kind of, we are not guaranteed this program.
Oh, okay.
So that if we are provided that, then that 250,000 could go for on-site purchase of the charging stations, and or that number can be dropped considerably.
Thank you.
A couple questions on that. Were you going to put in superchargers?
One.
What's that?
One.
One supercharger, one regular charger.
Ultimately, it will be about 4 or 5 regular dumb chargers and one supercharger.
So there's
But it's a multi-year project.
Gotcha. Are they going to be open to the public?
No, this will be behind our secured area.
All right. And is there any reason why we shouldn't put some of these at a powerhouse where we have maybe a direct link to the power?
Well, we are looking into that too. There are certain chargers like the ones we currently have installed that can run off our current system. There is a cost benefit to that. If we put charging stations on our current load, there's a higher cost per kilowatt hour. If you have a isolated system for electric vehicles, you get a certain price, you get better pricing. But we will more than likely need to put in chargers at various other locations as stopgaps, so we do not strand people.
We have a supercharger at our place and it works very well with my wife's vehicle. We got 96 solar panels also, but it doesn't use, it was only like, I don't know, $1,200 to install the entire thing. So I'm seeing the 250 here. And if I'm hearing correctly, if PG&E does come through, it will probably be in the order of maybe a tenth of that.
Exactly.
Or a 1% of that or something to put this in.
Yeah, a little bit more because we will need to run, from the transformer. They're going to choose a place, if approved, they'll choose the place where the transformer will go. Of course, they'll do as much as they want to and determining location. And then we would need to provide the underground infrastructure to get to our charging stations, where our location we're looking for.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, Steve? Thank you.
Nicely done.
Thank you. Okay.
I think I'm next.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you are. Yeah.
A couple more quick ones.
These,
Yes, so Steve Russell, Director of Maintenance, for fleet operations. We are looking to replace 2 portions of our fueling infrastructure. The first is diesel tanks and pump at the Grass Valley Yard. We have 2 tanks in the back. They're getting close to end of life. And due to regulatory requirements, we want to make sure that we are compliant and we're not causing any environmental concerns. So it is appropriate time to replace them. Lastly, the fuel master system, it is.
Question on those tanks, please.
Huh?
What is the end of life on that? Did it fail the brittle fracture test or is it, we have a resale value of these?
It can be resold. There's end of life of about 25 years.
Okay, so it's just a time period.
Yeah.
It's not a tested trigger.
No, we do test them.
For regulatory.
We do visual tests every year. 5 years, we do engineering tests on them. We have no issues. It's just we are concerned that it's getting to a point where we could receive a failure. We're way past the end of life on these, but we test them every 5 years. They've been fine. We're seeing signs of aging, not more aesthetic than structural. So we just want to be very careful about it.
If there is no structural, we can resell them. If there is, then we should not. Correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But we are, as of right now, these would be reused, be able to be sold surplus.
Thank you.
So in the valley, the Air Resources Board comes out and checks all the tanks and does a Coupa, which is a kind of an agreement.
The county
The county. does
County
that.
of
County does that here.
Nevada does that
Yeah.
annually, and spot inspections.
Environmental health.
And then we also have a location in Placer. We're not doing any changes, and Placer Environmental Health does those inspections also.
So I have a single wall, 2,000 gallon tank down there, but concrete containing system is pretty cheap to put in.
Mhm.
These are a lot more expensive,
Ours are double wall, double containment.
not even with the container.
I don't think so.
No,
When it just with the amount of equipment that's around them.
yeah, these are double wall containers, and we also have, and for the diesel, we have a containment area.
a secondary containment
Yeah.
for them? Yeah,
You're required to.
I would think so.
The county is very specific on that.
Yeah.
Fuel master system is our fueling system for all vehicles, allows us to refuel. It's the current software is outdated. We need to upgrade both hardware and software. to be able to ensure that we maintain our ability to refuel our vehicles both here and at the Placer yard. And then to answer Board Member Stevens' question, right now it's about 5,600 hours.
5,600. Get some use.
Yes, definitely.
Good morning. I'm going to stand up here in coordination with my colleagues. It just looks like a fun way to go. Greg Jones, Assistant General Manager. I'll go over the watershed items for us today. Wrong way. So the hazard tree fires fuel management CIP. This is an ongoing annual project we have. It's sort of as we need fuel management on particular dead and dying trees throughout the district's operation facilities, and some mostly outside of the immediate facilities where we've identified dead and dying trees.
Greg, do you, how, you know, like, where are these locations, or some at
So they can be everywhere. Some,
you know?
they can be everywhere. We can get a phone call from a neighbor
Right.
where, hey, your property has certain trees on it. We've utilized, you know, a lot of this money over the years for some of the homes that we own, some of those trees in particular. Over the years, maintenance and operations in Hydro and Rec have built fuels tree management into their budgets. And so a lot of those monies go onto those particular facilities, canals. They're kind of all over.
Okay, so there's not one project area.
No,
We used to do-
no.
We did the Scotts Flat project area, and, you know, on the Cascade, or on the Scotts Flat side.
Some of that money will come from here. Some of it will go from project-specific money.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep. Yuba Forest Restoration Implementation Project, you just identified in the consent item today, an additional $20,000 for forester assistance. We have this over a 3-year budget project. We got the grant in late 2023. We have through 26. We'll probably extend that by 1 additional year. We didn't do a ton of work in it last year, but we're really hitting it hard this year and next year. So we're going to see if we can get up to our 400 acres. We're close to the 200, so we may be able to extend it into the 230 acres next year to meet all 400 acres of the project. But if not, SNC has been really good with helping us extend by a year if we absolutely needed to, due to weather. Sometimes just timing is that we got to push it out another season. Rich?
This is a perfect slide for the Western Nevada County Resiliency Project.
Yeah, this area is, you know, there's about 6 different areas that we're operating on this particular project in and around Jackson Meadows Reservoir, Milton Reservoir, outside the Bowman Corridor, Austin and Shotgun Meadows. So there's a whole slew of different 12 acres here, 75 acres there. And we just, when we did the RFP last year, we thought we would only get up to about 150 acres, but we added another, I don't know, 1,300 that we could do this year. So yeah, no, this is, you know, it's remote, it's way up there, but it involves a ton of summertime recreation. And so it's got a lot of issues.
Well, I'm this burnt, then we're getting dirty water.
What?
If this
Yeah.
upper
Oh,
Yuba
if it-
forest
oh,
burnt,
Yep.
Yeah.
Sedimentation,
right on
Sedimentation would
through.
be
water quality, it's, yeah,
Yeah.
affects it.
Greg, I'm confused about the funding sources, whether this is, so this was part of the Sierra Nevada Conservancy grant project, right? And
Yes.
is this money we're contributing to, in addition to that?
You still have to budget for expenditures.
You have to budget.
Not sure
Yeah.
if they're reimbursed.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was my question. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I should have mentioned that. The fuels management project is all NID money. We don't really have grant funding for that. This project, we have grant money. We have $1.25 million that we received to do this money. So a lot of this money, but with that, we have, you know, total project costs, which includes staff time and some cost estimate. But
You
this,
just said the fuels management fire, or that's NID money?
That's NID cap.
First page.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. This is a total project of 1.25 million in grant funds. It covers about 75% of the total cost of the project.
Bang for the buck.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. The next one, this is a NEPA planning project. Again, this was funded by the Sierra Nevada Conservancy. It's a $560,000 grant that we got 2 years ago. We are still at the infancy stages of this particular project. There's 3,000 acres that we've identified, kind of more in and around Jackson Meadows, Milton, Bowman Corridor, all of the upper country zone where NID owns land, and it's next door to Forest Service land. So this is a project where we got money from Sierra Nevada Conservancy to do a NEPA on Forest Service land. 3,000 acres of Forest Service land. So a budding NID property. We're doing our work, and this would expand into Forest Service buffering.
Yes.
And so the problem here is we've been on hold necessarily while the federal government understands what NEPA really looks like moving forward. So we're having discussions at length with the Sierra Ranger District and the Tahoe Ranger District, trying to figure out this money technically is for them to do NEPA. We are a pass-through organization almost, but we're also assisting with the final science of the NEPA document. So we're still trying to figure out who's going to do what. We're a couple years into the 3-year project. SNC is willing to allow us to probably continue it another year to see how things flesh out with NEPA.
Refresh my memory what NEPA stands for.
National Environmental Protection Act. It's kind of gotten turned up on its head in the last 8 months. Selective logging. This is another project that we use it as if there's market if there's market for the logs that we have, then we will go through and do a timber harvest and pull those out of the forest and sell them, mostly to SPI. We believe that we're going to be able to sell some logs this year. Most of these logs are in and around Scotts Flat area. That's really where we have the best pines and the best opportunity for a merchantable timber. But we still are analyzing that, and we look at it for the market. Is the market right? Can we cost effectively afford to cut the logs, haul them, drive them down to Rio Bravo or down to the SPI logging facility and sell them for a price that we're not losing all that much.
Yeah. How many linear feet is there an average how much we sell?
We haven't sold timber in probably 5 or 6 years. The market just hasn't been there. The numbers are just not good enough to get them out of the forest. But getting the wood out of the forest is the best thing we can do.
If we break even.
Even if you break even or lose.
Yeah.
And if you remember, we had a biomass grant or a biomass contract with Rio Bravo a number of years ago, and we took a lot of bone dry wood chips down there. We didn't make money on that. We lost money, but we got a whole bunch of board feet of wood out of the system. That's, you're benefiting the whole ecosystem and the surrounding fire community by getting the wood offsite and delivering it to a location that's going to be a merchantable timber operation.
Are we trying to get the lumber offsite? Could we leave the chips? You know what I mean? Would a chipping operation lose less money, and would it be beneficial to chip it?
We mostly do chipping, and we do burn piles. So if we can't remove the material offsite, we don't want to leave. We have way more chips than the forest floor can handle. You really don't want to leave more than 4 or 5 inches of chip on the ground. We can leave 7 feet of chip sometimes. So we do burn piles up there in Scotts Flat, and we hire out with the Washington Ridge crew and CAL FIRE. So they assist us in those actual burns. But this is trying to get those logs out and see if we can get a market and some money for it.
So everybody in the county wants a biomass facility, but nobody wants it in their backyard.
And
We haven't been approached to look at that, have we?
We have.
We
but
have,
started and stopped multiple times. PCWA was trying to gain some support, but regulations in California would be real difficult to make it happen and have any type of return on investment.
there wasn't, the return on investment has not been there, right?
No.
correct. Yeah, there's a huge delta between what it costs to get the material there to what they can sell it for. There's just, you're losing money every day. And it's a shame.
And we can't produce electricity with it. Is this
You can, but again, you're at that, I mean, that's what a biomass facility is, that your delta of what the utility will purchase your electricity for is lower than what it costs to facilitate it.
They're not shameful. I mean, they keep raising it on the upper end. I mean, costs keep going up
Right.
for electricity, so maybe someday.
Maybe someday. Finally, the last one is just the English Meadow Restoration Project. This is to finish off we have a maintenance agreement with the grant that we received from the Wildlife Conservation Board. We have to maintain this place for another 20 years or so. We don't think that the $100,000 per year is going to be it. We didn't really do much maintenance this year. The real implementation years for this project was 2023 and 2024. Based on a tour we did yesterday, as a matter of fact, there are some buffering fuel management work that we still want to do, buffering between us and the Forest Service. And so we think that next year we're probably going to go in there and do little extra work to buffer some of the fuel management around the way. And we've noticed that some of the check dams that we had put in certainly has moved through the velocity of the water. So we got to replace some of those and rekey those in. Only a couple of them moved, but we still want to replace those. We're hoping that in the future, as we go forward, it's really only going to be about $10,000 or $15,000 up at English Meadow to just constantly keep some monitoring. We need to monitor for invasive species. We need to monitor for hazard fuels, and we need to monitor for kind of head cut. So seeing if the project actually works. We do anticipate putting we anticipate Forest Fish and Wildlife is looking to identify and bring up some beavers for this little area. And so that our little beaver engineers can help us with the project that we've done, and maybe over time they'll be our maintenance crew.
Greg,
Yeah.
does some of this money go for the no fun sign and access controls also?
Yeah. Keeping the public out of there and fencing the project. And so that sort of thing. Yeah. The no fun sign isn't that much money though. Okay. Thank you.
These are both NID funded projects.
The English Meadow, we still have a little bit more in the budget, but not that much more. We're really technically done here this next year. But over time, the English Meadow maintenance will be NID's general fund money.
Makes sense.
Yeah. We do have other grant opportunities that we're looking at, and that would form their own CIPs in the next couple years. But we don't add those to this particular document because we don't know. If we get the grant, then we'll come back to you and approve a budget amendment to receive that money and then expend the money as well.
Great
Thank you.
project.
Yep.
Thank you.
I have a
Yes.
This is the budget. This is my first rodeo here. So this is our budget for this year with all the emergencies prioritized. We're gonna have the same thing next year with a new set of emergencies prioritized.
So every year we go through the same process. Staff starts developing the budget kind of in the May, June timeframe. And then we schedule 2 workshops every year where we obtain input from the board and the public, and they're separated by capital projects and operational projects. Then we take any input we've received, refine the capital program as well as the operational budget. Then we combine them into one final proposed budget that comes for formal consideration by the board.
So we had a workshop today.
Yep.
We basically gave no feedback except for it all looks important. Please proceed, right? Okay, so that's what you were looking for, is if you said, no, this does not seem to be appropriate. Right? Okay, thank you.
This last item, maybe Jennifer, if you.
Yeah, the last item is the Tyler ERP, which is an ongoing item, and I'm happy to report that we should be going live with the financial portion and payroll January 1st. So
Nice.
Yay,
good
well done,
kudos
you
to all
all.
the staff working on it.
4 years, but who's counting?
None of that counts before.
No, none of it counted
Yeah.
for.
No, I mean, but it took a while and it's amazing. It shows perseverance.
Oh, they have, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Our
amazing.
staff's done an amazing job. It's taken a lot of perseverance and really
Mhm.
pushed the envelope on the schedule.
not
So
a-
they're doing great.
Yeah, it was a positive comment that it took that long because.
Well, it was a huge start and stop, right? So unfortunately, the effort from previous times was wasted effort.
No.
All right, and that's all we had. Is there any more questions of the capital projects? So next you'll see us back here with the operating budgets.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and then we just have one
There's
last.
no action, no formal action on this. Just-
Call for public comment.
Yep,
So
Well,
are there, excuse me, are there anyone,
it was working.
are there anyone present or out in the audience, the virtual audience? Why am I having trouble with my words today? I don't know. Anyway, is there anyone that'd like to make public comment on the items that we just covered here? Capital improvement budgets. Seeing none, we will move forward. Thank you.
We had one input about a bigger sized pipe around the roundabout.
That was not from a member of.
That was not from a member of the public. Thank you. Right. Okay, that's it. Then we will move to item 4C.
I mean,
Before we do, does anyone need a break now, later? What?
this is the last item. It should be really,
Okay.
really, really fast.
Okay, great. She says as she gives Greg the eyes.
Last meeting.
Okay, so this item, bringing forth you, it's a workshop to discuss and go over any questions that you might have. I'll give you a high-level overview and then we can get back into discussion. So this item is to discuss a proposed position description, job description amendment, as well as the creation of a new job classification for the communication specialist position. This position was created in 2017. As you'll see in the red line changes that are in your document, when it was created, it was pretty much the whole soup and nuts thrown into one very broad spectrum-based job description. If anyone recalls that time period, we really had one consultant communications person. That person did really one thing and two things, which was create a pipeline for the staff and the public, and then put out press releases. In looking at the existing job description and the work and the actions that our staff, communication specialist staff does today, we believe that job description is woefully inadequate and is difficult to administer, difficult to manage to, and difficult to kind of create expectations and job opportunities out of. We think that moving this classification into a more refined communication specialist, 1, 2, and then a senior communication specialist, what we're doing is we're adding more specificity to the position. And then we're also reflecting sort of this natural progression of skill and career advancement and opportunity for that particular classification. High level, the specialist, comm specialist 1, 2 really is, it starts at the lowest level of communications with, a couple years of equated relevant experience. And then the 2 is like four years of relevant experience. They're getting a lot of oversight by their supervisory staff, which is yours truly. They're getting a lot of sort of implementation development. They're putting packages together at the request and at the overview and actually the oversight of the AGM and the management team. And so there's really a lot of direction given and a lot of direction received. When we get into the senior specialist, that's an advanced role. We're actually asking that individual to create, to implement, to define, and to oversee, be a team leader for that particular activity, and really distinguish itself from the constant oversight that a 1-2 might do. In looking at the red line version, you'll see that pages 8, 9, 10, 11 of your board packet and 12 have been extremely changed to reflect the clean version of this Comm Specialist 1-2. We took paragraphs out of the functional responsibilities and made them very concise and clear so that that individual and that staff person really understands what it is we're being asked to do. So in that, we moved a lot of the expectations that we want to see in a lead senior position into the new senior comm specialist role. As you can see in the functional statements, essential functions of this position, we're asking that person to lead in the development, develop plans, coordinate and implement, create and disseminate, analyze and collaborate. And so there's a lot more expectation, and there's a lot more kind of ability to create and be a soul thinker in this space, because it does require a lot of kind of art with science. This position develops all of our organizational campaigns, whether or not we're moving forth into a campaign around water rates, around talking about infrastructure, talking about conservation or drought, the Golden Mussel campaign around that, like let's get together and think about what this looks like. They are working with and identifying which channels and key messages we're going to bring forth to the public in order to convey our messages. We've built new channels since this position was created. Since the position back in 2017, we had a website and we had press releases.
Right.
We have a brand new website since then. We do occasional press releases, but more often than not, we're doing a lot of web radio ads. We're doing print ads. We're doing video content, and I mean, of which we've had a video, I think, out at for microponds, for instance, as sort of a campaign around conservation and what can we do. We've had 39,000 views on that particular video. Our Golden Mussel video that we created, that's got 1,300 views out there in the world. Our website has increased tenfold since 2017 and since we started really focusing on communications and really talking to our constituents and our communities. We've got, in September alone, we've had 250,000 views on our website.
Wow, that's extraordinary.
It seems like a lot for little old NID, where we probably had, 50.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
10 years ago.
To compare it to 2 years ago when we hired this other crew, it's phenomenal.
Mhm.
It really is.
Well, and the
that many-
quality of the output is really great,
Much
I
better.
think.
We've pushed subscribers to, if anybody's interested in a project or a program on NID, we've built web pages specifically for that content. Think Plan for
Mhm.
Water, Golden Mussels. If anything happens, if we talk about it, we encourage the community to sign up and subscribe. So if anything is updated on the website, they get an immediate email. We've got 7,122 subscribers on our website.
It's just
I think 5 years ago, we might have had 7.
Yeah.
right.
Right. So it really, just the magnitude has really increased. I think it's built a lot of our, it's built a lot of our engagement in the community as well.
It has.
So through a lot of the extra work that has been developed on the communications plan and the communications campaign that we constantly iterate and we constantly build at the beginning of the year, and then we amend it based on whatever might happen. We think this position is warranted to be updated for the type 1-2 and created as a senior.
Mhm.
Any questions?
I have one, if I could.
Please.
Things evolve quickly, as you just pointed out. We don't have anything in here that they need to be able to handle different platforms. I mean, if we said you had to do MySpace, we'd all roll our eyes, but now it's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, WeChat, all this other stuff. Are we gonna try and make sure these people are proficient in this and evolve with it, or how do we make that happen?
Yeah. Yeah, the social media component of all of our communications has been difficult to manage, to say the least. We have had a consultant doing our Facebook posts. We're looking to move that into doing those internally for next year. Really just taking hold of it. We know the content, we know the information. The posts are not all that overly complicated, and we can get the information out of there. Facebook, Instagram, you do one post and it goes on a number of different platforms. As long as we've created timeline and calendar for those posts, those change all the time, but we're anticipating that that's going to be more brought in-house next year.
TikTok also?
No. There are certain platforms that I think are just not worth our time,
No, they're not.
and they're more detrimental.
Yeah.
They're more detrimental to the organization. And we definitely don't have the staff or the capacity to handle the volume once you put something out on some of those platforms, to respond, to engage. And a lot of that is just a negative component that, frankly, doesn't serve our purposes at all.
I agree.
So we're not looking to add an employee, but we're looking to add a classification.
Correct. So this is, this item today is just a request input onto the item. Then next it would be brought as for formal consideration. After that, consideration of putting this position into the budget would be done through the annual
Yeah.
budgeting process.
And nice move. I mean, 39,000 on microponds?
Right?
I need to get your attention.
Pretty good, huh?
Very good.
Any other input?
Just a question, I just want a clarification. All three positions would report to you, is that correct? If we had three people?
Yes.
That would be that way. And Jen has, I think, answered this question, but functional supervision would not allow them to do timesheets and stuff like that, so they would not be an exempt employee.
Correct.
Yeah.
They're not.
That's right.
They're not an exempt employee.
Right. Yes, says it. Says it right there.
Thank you. That term is just kind of crazy to me.
Isn't it?
A lot of our speak is.
For communications thing to have terminology that's,
Can't all be clear and straightforward.
Okay, is there any public comment for this item? Well, seeing none, okay, I think we're done here.
Thank you.
And then do you guys want to break before general manager's report?
I will be extremely quick.
Okay, it's looking like she wants us to keep moving forward. So, okay.
Not
Yeah.
a natural break. Let's go for it.
Yep,
Go for it.
go for it.
Okay, I just have one real quick item. Just wanted to notify the board. I know some of us have talked about it, but the update of the Bay Delta plan, which was supposed to go back to consideration to the State Water Resources Control Board, has been delayed again. So they will be recirculating the environmental document, and it appears we probably won't see something till next fall. Maybe summer,
In terms of final action.
in terms of
There'll be
final
some
action.
milestones to comment on and review, but
We're stalled again.
And the beat goes on.
Mhm.
That's all I had, except for unless Greg, you want to talk about your super fun field trip?
Super fun field trip.
Real quick, and I think maybe Director Stevens might have some ideas. But we had a great tour yesterday up at English Meadows and spent about 2 hours walking around and just saw the project. We had some partners from Circle. CAL FIRE was there with us, as well as Blue Forest funding opportunities. So a lot of great discussion and just a beautiful day spent in the English Meadow area. And I'll just wait for Earl to see if he's got any other comments. It was great. And I appreciate our staff, Nasa and Cameron, for providing a great overview of the total project.
Thank you.
Did you go, Earl?
yeah, I did.
So we'll move on to board comments, and you can begin.
Thank
and
you.
Tell us all about it.
First of all, I'm very appreciative to Greg for arranging some awesome weather because it was beautiful. It was a great outing. Nasa and Cameron, they're doing an incredible job, which I really appreciate. Susan, Greg, the great conversation, the vehicles, I learned a lot. I learned a lot. I had no idea the amount of cooperation that was achieved between the NGOs, the government agencies, NID to make all this stuff come together. It was pretty impressive. I got a serious schooling on that. And the only comment I'd say is that when we had the presentation here, before and after pictures, they didn't do it justice. They did nothing of justice to it. And you get up there and you see it, and it's pretty spectacular. So a lot of good work.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Board
Uh,
comment, Rich?
Yeah, Brianna Bacon at RCD wants to get together with us to figure out how much water is needed at the school farm.
Yeah, we coordinate directly with them.
Yeah. Okay.
With the school farm, not with Brianna.
Just one, good, okay. And then also the Farm Bureau dinner is October 4th. Okay, at the fairgrounds. The October 2nd at Martis Valley Sustainability Summit will happen, where I guess I'm going to speak for a little bit. And then Steve and I went to the Western Nevada County Resiliency Group meeting or project. And we're looking to probably have first part of November. It'll be a kind of meet the community at the Love Building. And we need to talk about that because they want NID's participation at a higher level. I mean, we'll still be on the governing board, but they want us to take more of a front position on it.
Great. Thank you. Chris?
Yeah, so I'll take this opportunity to provide some backstory for the staff and the board about Mr. Bernie Zimmerman's call about
About
what's there. Shebley's Pond.
Shebley's Pond.
Yeah, he built, the Shebleys built the first fish hatchery in California. I don't know what year, probably 1900 or something. Anyway, they built 3 ponds or several ponds on Butterfly Creek, which drains into Greenhorn Creek, where the Greenhorn Access Recreation Area is. And currently, one of those ponds remains. It had a concrete rock dam built, maybe about this tall. I don't know, it's not very tall. And currently, the water from Ron's Lake laps right up to the base of the dam.
Oh, interesting.
And the pond is still there. It's a really beautiful recreation area. Anyway, he's concerned about what happens with that structure, that pond, because of its historical significance. If we raise Rollins, it would inundate quite a bit of that. It's going to inundate quite a bit of Greenhorn Access recreation area to begin with. That'll have to be mapped later. But anyway, that's what he's talking about. It is beautiful in there. Anyway, that's all I'll say.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay, that's great. And I don't have a report at the moment. So after that, we'll take public comment on any item that is to be considered in our closed session that is to come.
I do not anticipate any reportable action. in the
Okay.
closed session.
Thank you. Is there any items, any people want to talk about any of this? Looks like none. Seeing none, we will then adjourn into closed session. Thank you.